We've got Michael Toth. He's an attorney. He's in private practice and a fellow with the University of Texas Civitas Institute and the Foundation for Research on Equal Opportunity. Big discussions at the Supreme Court yesterday. There's been a lot of discussion about the balance between public accommodation and religious freedom and what's happening. Michael, tell us a little bit about this case and what happened yesterday up at the High Court.
Yeah, Andrew Mercy, thank you so much for having me on, and delighted to unpack it for you yesterday. At the Supreme Court, the justices heard argument concerning a school called St. Isidore, and St. Isidore is poised to be our country's first religious charter school. And so what the case is really about is whether charter schools are going to treat faith-based organizations equal to secular organizations. So it really comes down to parental choice, competition in education, and whether we're going to discriminate on the basis of religion or not when it comes down to essential social services for oftentimes the most disadvantaged population. So really spirited exchange between the justices and the attorneys. But, I feel listening to the argument, cautiously optimistic that we're going to have a victory for more parental choice when the decision comes out in June, likely.
So, in essence, there is this. It seems that the Supreme Court justices, those that are the more strict constitutionalists, the conservatives, will obviously rule in favor. They're leaning towards this. This would be historic, I think, for religious education and school choice. But there is always that question with John Roberts. What's your sense when you were listening to what he had to say?
Yeah, Mercy, it's a great question. This case didn't come out of a vacuum. It didn't come from nowhere. The reality is that from 2017 to 2022, the U.S. Supreme Court issued three separate opinions, three major opinions that really address this question. Trinity Lutheran, Espinoza, and Carson are the names of the three cases. And in each of those three cases, the U.S. Supreme Court sided for more educational choice, including allowing parents and students to go to religious schools in voucher programs and other kinds of public programs that are available in the states, and were available only if you avoided religious institutions. Each of those opinions was written by Chief Justice John Roberts. I had a piece that came out 2 days ago in the National Review Online, and I encourage all listeners to check out the piece, but it makes the point that the Chief Justice on religious discrimination has been clear as a bell. So I think if the court follows its recent precedents, we're looking good. So we'll see how it comes out. Obviously, nobody's got a crystal ball, but I think, the court has been very clear. This particular court, just like Chief Justice Roberts has been very clear on race-based discrimination. Religious discrimination, race-based discrimination are just against the law. And as a country, we need to sort of move on and trust parents, trust your judgment, to make the best decisions for their kids in education.
We're talking with Michael Toth. He's an attorney in private practice. He's a fellow with the University of Texas Civitas Institute and the Foundation for Research on Equal Opportunity. Michael, Mercy and I have been talking a little bit this morning about sort of the departure from objective truth on the part of the Democrats and how this has played into their electoral politics. Let's talk about it from the public policy standpoint and the importance of these kinds of institutions and how the public can best be served by having schools like St. Isidore's, be serving their communities.
Yeah, 100%. I think it ties into that also, too. Andrew and Mercy, I know just before the break, talking about the first 100 days of the Trump administration. You're going to have Dr. Ben Carson on coming up. That's fantastic. I think this is also a first 100-day story. So at the U.S. Supreme Court yesterday, it wasn't just attorneys from St. Isidore that were arguing on behalf of parental choice here. The United States, the U.S. Justice Department also appeared. So John Sauer, which is a name that's, lawyers are very familiar with that name. John Sauer is a fantastic appellate advocate. He's now the U.S. Solicitor General. So the U.S. Senate recently confirmed him as our Solicitor General. And he made his first appearance in that role as U.S. Solicitor General for the Trump administration. And he argued on behalf of allowing these faith-based charter schools to move forward. It was his first argument as the Trump administration Solicitor General. So the Trump administration came down squarely on the side of parental choice. And they've been signaling this, obviously, with what they've been doing at the U.S. Department of Education with the historic executive order that they put out. Also, just one last detail. Back in 2020, in the first Trump administration, the Trump Justice Department's Office of Legal Counsel, OLC, very important part of the Justice Department, analyzing federal law, analyzing the Constitution, put out an opinion in 2020 saying that faith-based charter schools could not be discriminated against under the First Amendment of the Constitution. So the Trump administration has been very strong here. I think this is the first 100-day story for them to appear in this case. And, obviously, we're hoping that parents will get a victory here.
Well, Michael, listen, I've tweeted out this great piece from the National Review Online, Religious Charter Schools Should Pass the Supreme Court Test. How do folks find out more about the good work that you are doing?
Oh, thanks so much. Well, I'm a resident fellow at the Foundation for Research and Equal Opportunity, FREOP. That's www.freeop.org, and also at the Civitas Institute at the University of Texas. You can search for us as well. And we've got all our pieces up and more to come.
Well, thank you very much, Michael Toth, for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.